Hey, welcome everybody. Yes, the session is on. We are live. My apologies for the late start. Little technical snafus over here, but I think that we are good to go. If you can let me know if you can see me and hear me okay, I would appreciate it. I think I've got my microphones working now. Might still need some adjustment though, so if you can let me know, I would appreciate it. Welcome, David. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome, Daniel. Thank you. Alan, good to see you. Awesome. Sounds like things are working well. Perfect. Michelle, great to see you. Hello. Thank you so much. Thanks for being with me. Welcome to Office Hours. Apologize for the late start again, but we will get cruising. Also, thank you. So last week we did not have Office Hours because I was in Costa Rica enjoying myself on a little vacation, a little bit of a workcation actually, but on Friday, the actual day of our office hours call, it was purely vacation, and I had a fantastic time, and so it was nice to not have to worry about the call at all, just because I was let's see here, en route from the middle of the country where gosh, I can't remember the name of it right now, but where the big cool volcano is, to Tamarindo to head to the beach, and just had a spectacular time. That was my first time in Costa Rica, and I was so impressed by the culture and the people there, and how just passionate they were about their country and about showing off their country and making sure that we had a good experience there. And then also just the natural beauty of that place. Wow. You know, the jungles, the beaches, the volcanoes, all the animals. We saw monkeys, sloths, you know, big sloths, baby sloths, every type of bird, frog, lizard imaginable. So it was just a really, really special experience. And as much as I love our office hours calls, and I do, it was nice to just be able to be 100% focused on that experience. So that being said, I'm excited to be back. I am more excited about work right now than I have ever been in my life, which says a lot because I am always excited about my work. But man, things are cool right now. We'll talk about some of that on today's office hours. But if you are new to office hours, thank you so much for joining us. This is pure Q&A, unstructured. I do not have any specific agenda for you. So just going to try and help. And so any questions that you have, you can put them in the comments there on the right-hand side. I'm also going to drop in a link right now that will allow you to join me on camera and we can have a conversation. So if you've got anything that you want to discuss that needs more context, more back and forth, more complicated than a comment is going to be easy for, if you would like to share your screen, things like that, you can jump on camera and we can do that as well. And then let's see here. So yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and jump into questions right now and make sure that we address as many of these as we can. And then if we have time for some of my rants on why I'm so excited about work, we'll do that. David, welcome from Jacksonville, Florida. Awesome. Friday the 13th. That's right. It is Friday the 13th. We just had a Friday the 13th like a month ago too, right? We had a couple of those in a row. Awesome. Thank you very much, Mike. We did Costa Rica for our honeymoon and did both coasts. One of the best trips I've ever taken. Yeah, really, really cool. Okay, Guitar Psycho, good to see you. Hired a VA, awesome. I got like 20 warm leads. I'm trying to onboard her quickly. What's a good system to catch them up? I use Google Workspace Business Plus with Go HighLevel. What do you suggest to train and integrate? I'm realizing integrating a VA is a lot too. I have so many meetings come up, juggling training and onboarding is a lot to catch up on. Yes. So I would just say in general, the approach to all of this needs to be systems, and then recording yourself so that your training, onboarding, all of that can scale, right? So can scale without you having to just put more time into it. So first is the systems approach. If you have ever read E-Myth, that was just a major breakthrough for me. And I've shared that on these calls, who knows how many times. But the idea is simple enough, even if you don't read E-Myth, is that your business is a business of systems. And so we have a system for how we get the attention of a new prospect. We have a system for how we convert that prospect into a lead. We have a system for how we follow up with that lead and convert them into an opportunity. And this goes all the way through the business, all the way through to how we hire people, how we handle HR benefits, right? If you were to build up a team, and you can get that team indoctrinated into that systems thinking, it makes your whole business so much easier to scale and run. I was very fortunate in that the team that I built in my previous businesses, where I built up headcount, they all drank the systems Kool-Aid, and it made my life so much easier to run that business, because then they're thinking and developing systems instead of just randomly doing work. Made the business much more scalable, profitable, and ultimately sellable. So you want to think that way. You want to think about, okay, what are the systematic steps that I am doing at this process in the business, onboarding the new opportunities, or onboarding new employees, VAs, getting them trained up. And then as you then need to fill in the blanks on how you currently do those systems, then what I recommend is just fast little video recordings using Loom, or, there's some of those services now that you record like a Loom-like video using their system, and it automatically turns it into documentation with the video and stuff like that. Whatever version of that you want to use, I think that there's a lot of good options, but the point just being that instead of having a conversation with the VA and saying, do this, you have a conversation with the VA and record it, or you just record yourself doing it and saying, hey, here are the 7 things that we do to onboard a customer. And you break them into little individual videos, right? Step 1, we do this inside of HighLevel. Step 2, we go over here to their domain, and we do this on their domain. Step 3, make those all individual videos so that when you need to change or replace something, it's little compartmentalized, and you can do that quickly and easily. And then the third step to all of this, again, is then if you can get your VA and anybody else on your team that you're working with to think with that systems approach, then you can say, 85% of your job is to operate this system. The last 15% of your job is to improve this system. So as you see opportunities to make this system better, then please, bring those to me, and I'll give you a quick yes or no, and you go ahead and update the system. So that way your business is always getting better without you having to be the person making it better all the time. It becomes this self-growing engine. And when you get to that point in your business, you're a happy camper. It's like things are really cooking without you. And that is, that's the goal for all of us, right? So definitely, hold on a second here, Gary. All right, cool. Definitely take that kind of systems mindset and try and expand it to the other people that are part of your universe. Okay. So I hope that helps you, Guitar Hero, or Guitar Psycho. And if there's anything else I can expand on that, or I missed the mark in terms of what you're looking for to help you, please just let me know. Okay. What software do you use to get the questions to pop up on the screen? This whole experience is done through StreamYard. So StreamYard, let's type it in the comments. Really nice service that makes running any sort of live stream to a variety of different platforms. I'm streaming this live on YouTube right now, but I could be streaming it live on YouTube, Facebook, X, all of them simultaneously. And it's just got all kinds of nice simple features to be able to do that, like share the comments, share like a banner like that, you know. It's a really nice system. It automatically records things. I can bring people on stage with me easily. It's got all kinds of features I'm not taking advantage of, you know, that are more sophisticated that I could be doing. So I highly recommend it. I've been a big fan of it. I used to use, you know, all the GoToWebinars, Zooms, all that type of stuff. I have found for presenting one-to-many like this, that this is the best combination of features and also just simplicity that I've found. It's very, very easy to use. Okay. What's up, Dano from San Francisco? Good to see you. What are your favorite and most effective prospecting offers right now? Websites, the free website offer is still just fantastic. That's been one of my top for over a decade now. And I don't think it's going away. In fact, I just shared a stat in our, I shared a little chart or something in our community about a week ago, sharing how the number of new websites being built is actually accelerating dramatically now because it's so much easier and cheaper to build websites. And I can't remember, it's not Moore's law. There's a different law that has proven to be true across, you know, just about every single technology, is that as the cost of technology drops, the volume of use of that technology and the types of uses of that technology goes up exponentially. And so we're seeing that here. We're seeing that as, you know, websites are easier and cheaper to build. You know, all of you, I'm sure, just like me, you have so many ideas in your head. Oh, I'd love to have a website for this and that. And so the next thing you know, it's easy to build a website. And you're like, boom, we'll spin up those 4 websites that I had ideas for, because it no longer requires me to go hire somebody and spend thousands of dollars to do it. So websites are just going to continue, I think, to become, to be an excellent offer. They're an excellent foot in the door for then selling the rest of your services. And then the chat, AI chat is just, I think, a phenomenal front end offer because it has such immediate benefit and impact. It's easy to set up. It's easy to demonstrate the value of. It's very affordable to offer. It's very fast and affordable for you to set up. It's all those things. I love that as a front end offer as well. So those would be my 2 recommendations. Do you have a resource for template SOPs for digital marketing AI GHL services? I think if you're looking for like somebody to lay out for you, like the most step-by-step, like here's how to use this feature in HighLevel with these 10 steps, and, you know, press this button at this point and this button at this point. I would say that's probably HL Pro Tools or Extendly are the 2 leaders in the space for that type of stuff. I think it's very, very important that you understand that those are there's real limitations to those. Okay, so there's a big difference between an SOP for how to use this feature in HighLevel and an SOP for how to do digital marketing, right? So how to do digital marketing has stuff like strategy and frameworks to translate that strategy into tactics. And then the tactics, whether you're using HighLevel or any other tool or system to then execute on that strategy and those frameworks, that's where you can get into the step-by-step training of press these buttons at these points. So the point of all me saying all that is, if you are looking for something to give to your customers inside of HighLevel, so that when they're in there and they don't quite understand how to use the email editor, they can hit a little button and up pops a video that goes, here's how to use the email editor. Again, that's something like HL Pro Tools and Extendly, those guys offer, as well as I think a number of other people in the community do as well. If you're looking for somebody to give you, here's the step-by-step on how to do digital marketing, how to generate leads with Facebook ads, how to write follow-up email campaigns, how to generate more referrals. That obviously is, again, it's much more sophisticated. It starts at a strategic level. I would say the best place to get that now is AI. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about work right now, is the intelligence and knowledge of AI is getting really, really, really freaking good, and accelerating quickly. And so I'm sure you guys have seen ads for, people saying that, I've used AI to create an agency in a box, kind of thing that, does everything for you. As much as those are normally exaggerated, hypey claims, there's actually real truth now to the ability to do that. That's what, my team and I have been just heads down over the last 6 weeks or so, playing with some of these technologies, and the breakthroughs that we're having in what we can do for our businesses, for our customers' businesses, and what we're going to be able to show you how to do. It's pretty mind-boggling stuff. And so I would say, if you were looking for what is the step-by-step on how I actually design this lead generation campaign, execute it, measure it, then take that into the next step of the marketing cycle to do follow-up, all that, I would say that AI is best for that now. And we will, I can tell you, we will have specific resources for our community here very, very quickly, to help you with what we think are the most important aspects of that, and do it very well. Any suggestions, referrals for a white label agency partner to help with behind the scenes go HighLevel builds, workflows, web designs? Yes, Michelle, the two businesses that I've mentioned, and I'll go ahead and type their names in here just because they're a little bit funky names. HL Pro Tools and Extendly. We have worked with both of these guys. We know both of their founders really well. Both very good guys, very good businesses, and have been essentially the back end support resource for HighLevel agencies now for years, and they're very good at what they do. Which one would I choose between the two? I can't say that. Not just because I like them both, and so I don't want to pick one. It's just because it really is kind of like the very specific use case of what you're trying to accomplish with your business. They're each slightly different and slightly better at certain things than others. And so what I think that you need to do is you need to say, hey, here's exactly what I'm looking for somebody to do for me. And then you need to go to each of them and kind of interview them and say, how does what you have to offer line up with these things, and where are the gaps, and, are those gaps okay for me, or how am I going to fill those gaps, or whatever. Because they each, like I said, they operate very similarly, but also slightly differently. And you just have to, just like you were hiring an employee or something like that, you need to interview them and make sure you've got the right fit. Awesome. Yes. So Guitar Psycho. So let me just share with you something. So we have onboarding strategy and approach that we share for you onboarding your customers. Don't really have anything for onboarding a VA other than let me I'll just share with you here. This is one of my favorite things that I've ever created. And gosh, I first created it. It's scary to say, we're coming up on 20 years ago now. And I'll just share my screen, and then I'll just share this whole folder with you guys, so you can just get access to the whole folder. And you'll see some old branding on there because this is part of our Growth Insiders program. We don't offer that as a name anymore. It's essentially what Moguls has evolved into. And this link, you have view access. So I'm just going to say right now, so you guys don't drive me crazy, is that when you have view access to a Google document, to be able to edit it, you just make a copy of it and then save that copy as yours. And then you can edit whatever you want. Okay. So please don't request edit access or anything like that. If you're not familiar with Google Docs, this is what happens. And it makes me bonkers because I get all these requests for edit access that I have to respond to or deny or decline or whatever it is. So I just put a Google Drive URL into the comments. You guys can get it there. But let me share my screen here. So when I was building my first real business, and as I told you, I was completely bought into the approach of making my business a system. I was building an IT services company, which back in the day, an IT services company had a ton of variability. Every customer was different. The approach to service was different. It was a very just consultative industry, which if you know me and you know my approach, I was like, nope, we're going to change that. We're going to make this all systematic, process driven, standardized, right? That's how I build services that scale. So that first business was the business where I had developed this philosophy of services at scale, and I was trying to build that company from scratch according to that philosophy, and it worked. And that's how we are where we are today. So one of the first things that I did, and this is not from me being real smart, this is from interaction with some of my key teammates, where I built the process. And here's why I built the process was because we were growing very quickly, hiring people very quickly. And I realized I could not possibly take the time like you're trying to do, Guitar Psycho. I could not possibly take the time to give every one of my employees the process that they needed for their job. I literally didn't have time in the day to just go and document all that stuff and give it to them. And so what I said to them was, hey, look, everything here has got to be a process. So you're going to have to go ahead and create your own process and then bring it to me so I can review it and go, yes, that's the process, or give my feedback to change it or whatever. That was much faster and much more scalable than me having to do it all, right? So that was step one. Step two, they come back to me with these processes, and you can imagine Mike's hyper entrepreneurial energy. What did I do? I just said, hey, everybody's got to have a process. Go get your damn process done. I want it in 3 days. Bring it back to me, right? That was like the level of instruction I gave them. And so when they came back at the end of those 3 days, every process was totally different. So one person, that meant I'm putting together PowerPoint slides for Mike. One person meant I'm putting together a Gantt chart in a project planning tool. Another person said it's a bunch of steps in a spreadsheet, whatever. So I was like, oh yeah, shit. I just told them to go put together a process, but I didn't tell them a format or anything like that. So then the next step, and this has been absolutely just one of the most high leverage things I have ever done in my career. And it's so freaking simple. And it has served so many other businesses that have taken and run with it. You have no idea how many people to this day come and thank me for the process. And it needs to be adapted to today's world, because today's world, we have all these new tools and technology and stuff. But essentially, it's just a process for creating processes, so that you can say to your VA, or you can say to your whoever, this is how we operate around here, and you have to document and maintain and improve the processes of your job. And so if you can say, these are the 3 key processes of your job, then that's super helpful. So at least just be able to give them that level of direction. And then the process is first just this little document that says, hey, why the hell do we have to have processes, Mike? Like, do you just love bureaucracy? So me just explaining philosophically why we need those. And that is this document right here. So you'll see it, why a process. Okay. And then going back to the folder, the second one here is the process. And so I know this sounds ridiculous to some extent, but again, it's so damn helpful. So what this is an explanation of the process of creating processes. So this is less of a linear process and more of a collection of guidelines used to create, update, and communicate a process. So 1, every recurring task in our business should have a documented process. Take the time to document things correctly once saves a ton of time in training others or in doing the thing incorrectly with variability over and over again. The people that regularly perform the task should create the process. If a process already exists, it should be followed to the T. If a process has a problem, you should fix it immediately and change the process. So it's just, here's how we approach this process thing at this business. Okay. And then the third document back here is this process template. And so the process template is me showing them, this is how I want your document. This is how I want your process documented when you bring it back to me. And when I come to you and I say, hey, something's going wrong. Oop, do you guys still hear me? And I just got a little message saying you may not. Anybody? If you let me know if you can still hear me, okay. Cool, thank you. So this is like literally, you can see it. Write a brief summary up here. Say who the owner is, the date was created, the date was last modified. Brief summary of what this is. Choose file, make a copy. Press OK. So you can see this is a process. In the upper left of Google Docs, right next to the Google Docs logo is the name of your document. Click on this and change it to the name of your document. Complete the document, starting with the replacement of the things that are in brackets. Use numbers or bullets to outline the steps in the process. If a step in the process uses another document, spreadsheet, or tool, be sure to mention it in this step and ideally include a link to it. So like it's literally saying, this is how I want you to document your process and present it to me. Just that level of instruction right there completely changed my business. It completely changed my business. It was just enough structure to give a bunch of young people, new employees, hadn't had formal business training, all that stuff, to give them enough structure to turn our business into a series of systems that could be measured and improved. And then that, it just became our culture. It became our culture. Like when you came on board at our company, you got indoctrinated into the process by everybody else, right? In the company. So what I would say to you is to make that a core part of onboarding your new VA or anybody else, where you say, hey, brought you on for this job. What is this job? Well, this job is these 3, 4, whatever it is, main things. I'm going to have you regularly update our customer information. I'm going to have you onboard new customers from this step to this step. I'm going to have you, do these things, right? So what we want is a series of documented processes for all of those. So in the first 30 days, whoever you are coming on board, what we're going to do is we're going to actually have you document your process for each of those 4 major things. And I'm going to work with you on that. We're going to collaborate, but here's how we're going to do it. Here's the process, right? And explain why this is so important. The buy-in that you get from people, they're oftentimes a little intimidated first, but the buy-in that you get because they realize they have the ability to shape their jobs and improve their jobs rather than just doing what you've told them to do. It's so empowering to them. That's like pretty much the most important thing that I could tell you when it comes to onboarding somebody, is to indoctrinate them into that culture and that process. And your business will just take on a life of its own, honestly, because it will become self-improving. Those people will understand, hey, it's their job to make their functions better. And they will look for opportunities to do that and bring that to you now. Okay. So I hope that was helpful for you. Alan, I see you back there. Thank you for your patience. How's it going, sir?
Very well. Thank you. And yourself?
Great. Thank you. I hope that you are safe. If you are still in Dubai, I hope life has been okay over there.
It has. Yeah. It's interesting. You hear the occasional bang, but in the distance, but pretty much we're feeling safe overall. This iron curtain, as they call it, or iron umbrella. So yeah, pretty good. So I'm glad you enjoyed your Costa Rican holiday as well. Yeah, so well deserved. My question is actually one of, so I'm loving the new website template. I've actually been implementing it myself, part of my self-learning and everything else.
Cool.
But I like the AI message, but I'm struggling with the systems message to a client versus pushing what I perceive as a product pitch. Yeah, a foot in the door. So I just wanted your views on how best to handle this sort of approach. Yeah.
So just how to communicate what a system is and why that's so important versus just like the product.
Yeah, because I'm trying to open the door with the AI agent. Yeah, the chat and the voice and so on. But that's a product-led approach to me, and I need it to lead into the systems discussion. So I was trying to get your input to that.
Okay, cool. Yes. So yes, this is very important. And I think, let me give what I think is the simple version of this. So in terms of your overall brand messaging at your business, so if somebody lands on your website, right? Or they hear you speaking about your business or something like that, that you should be using the language of systems. And so I would tell you, like, my pitch is just something, the simple elevator pitch is we help businesses use proven marketing systems to grow. And so somebody says, well, what do you mean by that? What's an example of that? And I say, well, that's a good question. And then that leads into my conversation, the briefly, especially at first, brief conversation of the R6. And it starts with, Alan, I don't know what your background is. Can you tell me a little bit about, what you do? So you asked me to explain, what do I mean by that? And I said, well, yeah, I'm happy to do that. Would you mind just telling me real quick about, what you do? So you give me whatever answer you give me. And I say, cool. So Alan, you have a plumbing business, right? Well, I don't know if anybody has ever given you a simple definition of what marketing is, but when I ask 100 different business owners what marketing is, I get 100 different responses. Some people think marketing is advertising. Some people think marketing is posting on social media. Some people think, whatever. Some people think marketing is a scam. So I get a big range of answers. So let me just explain to you how I think about an approach marketing. I think about an approach marketing that there are these three major phases. Okay, the first one is attracting new prospects to your business. The second major phase is converting those prospects into customers. And the third major phase is retaining those customers for as long as we can. So you get that good recurring business, lifetime business from those customers. Does that make sense to you, Alan? And Alan goes, yes, because that makes sense to everybody. That was just a nice, simple definition of here's what marketing is, right? And so Alan says, yes. And I say, great. I said, well, what we have learned in growing our own businesses and working with our customers is that for each of those major phases of marketing, there are proven systematic approaches that can be taken to accomplish those goals as effectively and efficiently and affordably as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Yeah, sure. So that usually, Alan, is pretty much enough. And so, but let me give you an example. So I say that, and then Alan goes, "Oh, so you mean like HubSpot? You know, they've heard of HubSpot. They use HubSpot, whatever it is." And I go, "Well, Alan, that's a great question. What HubSpot is a tool. It's a software tool that helps you execute on a marketing strategy and helps you potentially put in the marketing systems in place. But it's just a tool. And so on its own, if it does not have the strategy and the overall kind of frameworks and systems-based approach, then you probably are not going to get the results from that tool that you would hope for." And I would say, "Are you using HubSpot? Is that what you brought up?" And maybe you say yes. And I say, "Do you feel like you're really getting the full potential out of it and it's really helped your business grow the way you want it to?" And again, in almost every case, the response is going to be, "Not really. It's pretty expensive and I'm not really sure that we're really using it or what it really does for us." And then I would say that's really common. And the reason for that we've found is that it's missing that overall marketing strategy and systems approach to make it really effective. And so whether it's HubSpot or any other tools, it's like somebody gave me a hammer and a saw and told me to build a house. If I don't have the blueprint and the knowledge of how to build a house, the tools are just not going to be that effective for me. So again, at this stage, that's usually enough. That's usually enough that the person goes, "Hey, this Mike guy knows something about what he's talking about here with this marketing and business growth stuff. He seems confident about it, seems knowledgeable about it. He's explained it to me in a way I can understand." And then there is the next step. Okay. And so the next step, Alan, is I would say, "Hey, Alan, it sounds like maybe I might be able to help you. You want to get together for a half an hour or something like that, and I can take you through this kind of systems approach." Sure. So then in that systems approach, that's when I introduce the R6. Okay. And so the R6, and I'm not saying that you have to use the R6, as you know, Alan, it's just my framework that I share, but you could use whatever similar approach that you wanted. Where what I say then is I say, "Hey, Alan, remember we talked about these 3 key marketing phases?" Yeah. Well, what we have done is we've realized that in these marketing phases, there's these 6 critical success factors. And so what we do, let's take attract as that first one, attraction. We want to attract new prospects. Well, how do we attract new prospects? One, we need reach. So we just need to get our message out to as many people as we can so that they hear from us, they know of us. If they don't know from us, they can't buy from us. So reach is critical when it comes to attracting more people. The second major thing is your reputation. If we reach a bunch of people and you have a terrible reputation, it's not going to do you any good. So we want to make sure that we're reaching a bunch of people with a positive reputation so that people are attracted to engage with you. So those are the 2 critical success factors in attraction. And so what we do is we design specific marketing systems that get you more reach and get you a better reputation, and do that consistently and affordably. Does that make sense? And you go, yes. And then again, this is I hope I'm not beating this to death, but this is usually to the point where with a small business owner in particular, I can say, I can explain those 6 R's and I can go, "Does this make sense to you, Alan?" And Alan goes, "Yes." I go, "Do you have any questions, Alan?" And then awesome. Like, look, I think that I can really help you with this. If you'd love to get, if you'd like to know more about how we can get started, I'm happy to share with you some of our service offerings, stuff like that. And then that's when it's the $497 a month. Here's what it is. We have a one-time setup where we do all this, we train your team and all that. Here's what it looks like. Usually, like the specific features of those systems, a lot of small business owners don't care at all.
But
Some
are
of
we
them,
often, sorry, Mike, just to
yep,
interrupt, but are we often not pushing like the website, the free
yep,
website offer or the AI chatbot or
yep,
whatever? We're pushing a feature first
correct.
to
So
hook them in to talk about a system.
yes. So I'm giving you kind of a roundabout answer here, and I apologize. So the point I was just making is that oftentimes in that process, we get to the level of features and they don't even really care, or they might have a couple of specific features that they have in their mind are really important or they're really concerned about and they want to ask about. But out of the 50 features that we have to potentially turn on for them in this overall system, we're really talking about just 2 or 3, and then they're sold because they're sold on the clarity of the concept, right?
Yeah.
And so I just want to introduce that because it's so important for maybe some of the other folks that are listening in particular when they're thinking about, oh, I have to list all of the features of everything that we're doing to sell people and convince them that our system is valuable. And that's not true. It's confusing. So in the case where you are leading with a feature, which is perfectly fine because some people are really going to be attracted to a specific feature. And also features are tangible. Features are specific. Somebody can go, oh yeah, I get that. I get a new website. I get a chatbot, like great. So what's important, Alan, is that again, your overall brand presence and your overall marketing still has all of that systems language in it. So that when I see your ad for the chat thing, and I go to your website and I'm looking at, hey, who's this Alan guy and what's his business? I'm seeing this messaging about proven marketing systems for businesses. Okay. So that when you're having that conversation about the chat widget, ultimately, if you follow our scripts, that conversation about the chat widget includes conversation about how this is part of your overall systems approach for businesses. So this is one particular tactical feature in an overall system. And then once I have you sold on that individual tactical feature, the next step is to say, hey, Alan, what you've got is one out of the core 23 marketing components that we set up in our overall system for businesses like yours. Now that you've seen the benefit of that one thing, I'd love to have a conversation with you about the rest of our capabilities and how I think that those can make sense to really help you with growth at your business. So now we're tying that one specific tactical feature into all of the features of an overall system. And that conversation that I just described to you there at first is then the conversation that I would have with them in an upsell approach. So I would then say, I would start with, hey, you've got this feature. This is really important in the process of attracting and converting, new opportunities, right? Let me share with you how we think about overall marketing the business. Attract, convert, retain. This thing sits right here, but you've got all these gaps in this process that we can fill with this systems-based approach. And the systems thing is, they all work together. They complement each other to achieve the maximum growth potential of your business.
So what I'm like about the new website approach is that you've got the solutions element. So, in my language, the get, found, drive, repeat business, get off the hamster wheel, those are outcomes.
Yep.
Then you've almost, in my thinking, you've got the R6 middle layer, if you like. This is the framework that we use to deliver those outcomes. And then you've got all these features that are like your pillars and supporting the whole thing. Yeah, your foundations to deliver.
I get it. Yeah, that sounds right. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. So I'm on the right lines. Right.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I hope that helped. Sorry, I know I beat it to death, but I always feel like I have to give the big picture of that, or it doesn't get absorbed as well.
Yeah, it's just getting lost in trying not to lead with features and lead with outcomes. Although I appreciate the benefits of the voice AI and the website and all this sort of thing. Yeah, but
I think the way that you described it is right. Is like there's just these layers, right? That highest layer is outcome, which is what they're ultimately looking for. Hey, I want you to help me accomplish my goals, and my goals are make more money, have more time off, not have to deal with pain in the neck employees, all that stuff. So
yeah, okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
that.
Stay safe.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Can I expand on free websites? Yeah. So Mark, I've got YouTube videos on this. There's a YouTube video on how to get to $10,000 a month offering free websites. You can check that out. I've also got inside of our HighLevel agency FastStart, which is a free course. You can get all the entire free training and resources on how to execute on this strategy. But the strategy is this. I mean, it's super simple. You market free websites, okay? Small businesses still in their mind, hey, to get a good new website, I've got to invest thousands of bucks, hire somebody to do it. You know, it's probably a pain in the neck, probably takes too long. They'll probably screw it up and I'll get charged more than I originally thought. All of those things are in their mind. So a free website is kind of a shock and awe offer, right? And so you make that offer, you want to immediately back up that offer with an explanation of why you're making that offer. And so why you're making that offer is it's a great way to introduce you to our services. We are very good at using all the latest tools and technologies to build really effective websites for small businesses. So we know that we can do this quickly and cost effectively and make a great first impression with you. And the kind of fine print of this is that, you know, we're going to be charging you for the hosting of your website. You're going to have to pay for hosting of the website with somebody anyway. So this is how we make our money back over time, is that we have you as a hosting customer to help us offset some of those costs, right? And then again, it's our hope, no pressure, but it's our hope that we do a great job with this. You're going to take us up on some of our other services. So it's a great marketing vehicle for us to get our name out there and find new opportunities. So that's why we do this, okay? So the design and build of the website, though, is free. So they're getting that for free. Again, normally that's something they're going to pay thousands of dollars for. You're doing that for free. And so to do that for free, it's never been freaking easier. Man, if you haven't seen HighLevel's new AI builder, it's getting released publicly here very soon. It's in the labs stage, and we've got, you know, early beta access and stuff like that. You can spin up a brand new website for a business in minutes. I mean, and integrated with HighLevel's features and stuff like that. It's ridiculous how easy it is. And then you just have a process. You know, usually what I recommend is 2 rounds of revisions. So you take that first version of the website, you show it to the customer, they can give you feedback. You go back and make a round of revisions. You show them the next one, they give you feedback, and then it's live. And then anything that they want after that, they would have to pay you for, right? There's got to be some limit and some structure to this free stuff, so you don't just get a customer that is using you to completely modify things for the next year, right? So that's the offer. Very compelling offer. Works really, really well. We've got some guys maybe on this call. You know, they come on this call every once in a while that are using that as the foundation of they've gone from 0 to multiple 6 figures a month in recurring revenue in just the last 18 months or so. So still works like gangbusters. Where are a new agency focused on selling B2B? We are a new agency focused on selling B2B SaaS. This means we will need to integrate with Salesforce and HubSpot. Any suggestions on how to find partners who are proficient with Salesforce and HubSpot? Well, each of those has a huge marketplace of partners, right? So there are certified Salesforce partners and certified HubSpot partners. They both have a huge, huge army of resellers out there that are certified partners. So I would go to each of their websites and look for their partner program information. And honestly, if you just post in any community, like if you posted in the HighLevel community and said, hey, you know, we're a HighLevel business, but we're looking also to work with people who are experienced in HubSpot and ideally also certified HubSpot partners or were previously certified HubSpot partners, we'd love to connect with you. You're going to get all kinds of responses because there's all kinds of people in the HighLevel community that came from the HubSpot community. So Salesforce, it will be less so because Salesforce is usually used by bigger businesses, enterprise, more so than small businesses. I know they have a ton of small businesses too, but just generally speaking, HubSpot has more of the small business marketplace, Salesforce more of the enterprise. But same thing. I would just look for those. I would look for any sort of partner directory on their websites, on the Salesforce and HubSpot websites, and look for, be able to search for, I'm looking for a partner in such and such city or whatever. And then, just posting online, you should be able to get a bunch of feedback. Selling in person is absolutely going to, if you are good at presenting yourself and good, with rapport with people, you are always going to close better in person than you do over the phone or over a Zoom or whatever. But it is not nearly as scalable or cost effective. So yes, using your judgment as to how you hand that off and when you hand that off to a digital close is super important. Yes, we do. We do have an SOP for clients obtaining their own domain and how to administer access. But Mark, what I would tell you is that our process has now become, hey, we'll just get it for you because HighLevel allows you to buy domains through HighLevel now. So, we just essentially just walk them through that process. But yes, we do have a process for that. Yep. Yeah, you bet. So that one was a long time ago. Can you use missed call text back with a forwarded number? Yes. No, that's not true. I don't know who told you that. Yes, you can absolutely use it with a forwarded number. Hi, Mike. Can you help explain AI employee pay-per-use pricing structure as per HighLevel support? This voice engine rate and LLM rate based on the usage of tokens. Seems a little confusing. So you have an unlimited option, which is $97 a month. At $97 a month, the business can get unlimited use of all the AI features, or you can do a per use. It's the exact same per use model as like a cell phone plan that, you pay for the minutes, or a text messaging where you pay, for the text messaging usage. It's the exact same thing that pretty much every model like this has followed over time, right? So you can sign up at AT&T now and get unlimited voice and unlimited text, but you could also sign up for a dirt cheap program with them or with some other carrier where you get limited voice and limited text. And then if you go over that, you have to pay for the usage, right? Exact same thing here. If you go into HighLevels here, let me go into my agency account. I'll just show you real quick. Share this. Okay, so I am inside of the SaaS configurator inside of HighLevel. So this is at the 497 level. But if you go and you look at this edit details, so I go and edit details, and I do rebilling right here on the far right. And you can see all of the various services here that you can rebill for. Oops, shoot, sorry. Hold, please. Okay, let me just make sure you know where we're at again here. Right here, SaaS configurator, and then rebilling. And then down here are all the services that I can rebill for. And what we mean by rebill is that HighLevel is billing for the usage. We can then mark it up and charge the customer for the usage of those services at whatever prices and margins we determine. Okay, so you become a reseller of those services. So in the case of any of these services, just like the AI, if you look at conversation and voice AI as an example, you'll see the charge 0.02 cents per message, 0.13 per minute voice call. And based on, I did this 2 times markup here, but I can adjust this. I can just slide this thing to do whatever I want for the markup. It's saying that we will charge them 4 cents and 26 cents because it's 2 times my cost. So that will give us a 2-cent profit per message and 0.13 per minute on the voice calls. So again, with any of these services, you have the ability to control the ultimate price that your customer is going to get charged based on how you mark up those resale prices. Okay. So at some point with any customer, the amount that they're spending on those resale markups, it would make sense for them to just do the unlimited AI plan at $97, right? And it's like, hey, just use it all you want. It's just 97 flat fee. So it really only matters until it's $97 a month. And so, you know, ideally with a lot of people, what it makes sense to just say is then, hey, we're just going to put you on, you know, this plan. And when I say $97 a month, that's $97 to you. So let's say it's $197 to the customer, $297 to the customer, whatever it is, however you want to price that. You just say, hey, look, it's $297 a month and you get unlimited use of all this stuff. That's a very nice way to pitch it. But if you want to do it on per usage basis, yeah, I mean, it's a little more confusing because somebody's got to track and understand, oh, I used it and got charged this amount, and what was I using it for, and why did I get charged that amount, and am I happy with that or not, or should I be flat fee? And so there is some confusion to it, but it's just like any other pay-per-use model in existence, of which there are many. Again, cell phone plans, text messaging plans, things like that. Okay. And then you asked, how do you know which model to use and how do you know how much tokens you need? That is all just automatically determined inside of HighLevel by the way that they're structuring things. So again, you just get charged based on the way that they've laid it out in that rebilling system. And that just is what it is. And I can tell you, I mean, HighLevel is doing the very damnedest that they can in every scenario and all of this stuff to make it as cheap as humanly possible for us and for our customers, because they understand that that's important and a key value proposition. Okay. Awesome. I think you're referring to the process. Awesome. Good. How much do we charge for hosting in those websites? We've done everything from like $67 to $97 a month. And really what we've always aimed for is $97 a month. And what we are doing, Daniel, is we are not just stressing that it's hosting. We are stressing that we're also giving them these core features of HighLevel with their website. We don't say of HighLevel. We say these core other features of our marketing system. So when we're doing the pitch, once we have the customer sold on getting a website from us, our pitch is, website is one very important part of an overall marketing system. But if you just have a website and, there are billions of websites now, if it's just a website sitting up there and it doesn't have these marketing capabilities built into it, one, your website's not going to get very much visibility. And two, even if it does get visibility, it's not going to convert that visibility into new opportunities or customers for you. So as part of our marketing systems, what we do is we provide the things that help convert that attention into opportunities and customers, such as a web chat to engage visitors and get their information, call tracking phone number with missed call text back or voice AI, lead capture forms, exit pops, right? And then once that information is captured, it needs to go someplace. We have this conversations interface where in one interface, you're going to be able to see and respond to any conversations that come in from any of these sources. Your website, the chat, lead capture forms, social media, we integrate all of that for you. So now what we're doing is we're bringing them into HighLevel, right? We're bringing them into our platform to make it easier to now start expanding our service offering, and also just justifying the $97 a month versus, let's say, $47 a month for hosting, or whatever. You don't want to commoditize anything, right? You want to make it a better experience that you're charging some sort of premium for. Salesforce, yeah, SFTC partners don't go HighLevel though. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a small percentage that are getting on board with HighLevel, but it's going to be smaller in the Salesforce world because most of those people are enterprise. So yeah, that's going to be tougher to find for sure. Katarina, I don't know. I would have to, obviously that's something we'd have to sit and troubleshoot. I mean, the number of times that there's some little thing that has to be set up, just a little bit differently to make, missed call text back work, or some of those other features work. I mean, I've had this conversation 1,000 times. So you should just know there is an answer. It just takes some sitting down and troubleshooting it, and you might be able to get on HighLevel support. You could come to one of our Launchpad calls. If you're one of our HighLevel customers, you come to one of our Launchpad calls, and my team will work with you on that. So I hope we can help. Would love to see finer controls over chatbot styling. Any word on having more styling controls or full customization of the widget anytime soon? No, I haven't heard anything about that. Yeah, I mean, I think that could be cool for sure, but I haven't heard anything about that. So sorry. Cool. Any other questions? Yeah, Katarina, sometimes that's what you got to do. I mean, HighLevel has, I think, a wonderful support organization, but it's huge, fast growing. So there's variability, right? Between some people that you get on the phone with understand certain things really well and not others. So that's just reality. Any other questions? Let me know. While I'm waiting for other questions, I will let you know why I'm so excited to work right now. If you have not been up to your eyeballs in some of the latest AI developments, like my team and I have been over the last 6 weeks or so, one, I highly recommend that you get up to your eyeballs. And two, that you fully just try and understand that right now, the ability to get things done has just multiplied exponentially. And that's only going to change for the better very quickly. So what I mean by that, every entrepreneur that I know has like a million ideas in your head, right? All these things that you're like, oh, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do this better. I just don't have time. I can't hire another person. I would love to have this software, but it's too expensive to develop. None of that is true anymore. All of those barriers are being brought down so quickly and so powerfully by AI that it's funny, because a number of people that I know, we all report the same thing, which is that we're having a hard time going to bed at night because we're having so much fun getting so much done that it's like it's feeding our entrepreneurial urges so much that it's like, oh my gosh, I could just get another, I could get another 4 businesses launched. I could, whatever. It's like, it's unbelievable. There is a learning curve to it. And that's why over the last 6 weeks, my team and I committed. We were just like, we're just going to go heads down in this stuff. So you got to commit to that learning curve and get through some of those hurdles. But it is crazy how cool it is to be able to just execute. I mean, it's like my team has doubled in size in the last 6 weeks, even though I haven't actually doubled the size of the team. And I would imagine that in another few months, I'll be able to tell you that it's like my team is 10 times the size that it was, because we're able to just get so much done through AI. So I cannot stress enough. I have ranted on this over the last couple of office hours, and I will continue to rant. The opportunity to help small businesses with this is mind-boggling. And the benefit of helping small businesses with this is mind-boggling. And let me explain why I mean that is, because why that is, because I hope you all drink the Kool-Aid on this, okay? Big businesses are going to use this, and they are going to lay off thousands and thousands and thousands of people. It's happening. It's going to accelerate dramatically. Why? Because in big businesses, there are thousands of people doing jobs that are just basically simple, repetitive digital processes. Analyze these spreadsheets, put together a presentation telling me the outcomes of that analysis, give it to this boss so they can make a decision on something, go back and repeat that based on this last month's sales numbers and then the next month's sales numbers. That's an analyst. There are people that are paid 6 figures a year to just do what I just described. Take a bunch of data and spreadsheets, make pretty graphs, determine the trends, give that to a boss so a boss can go, oh yeah, shoot, we should be doing more of this and less of that. There are millions of people just sitting and answering chats. There are millions of people, answering phone calls, or, it's like all of those things are going to get done with AI, and those jobs are going to get destroyed. It's just reality. That's the scary sounding part, right? With small businesses, it is exactly the opposite. No small business has a bunch of people sitting around just doing simple repetitive processes, digital processes, right? Because small businesses can't afford those people, right? Every restaurant should theoretically have a dedicated social media person and a dedicated, person that all they do is get and capture and post reviews and follow up on service problems and make sure that every past customer knows about a new offer to come back in. Every small business should have that, but they don't because they can't afford it. And a lot of them wouldn't know how to or what to do with it anyway. With AI, you are going to be able to add that capacity to small businesses. Those businesses are going to get bigger and better in terms of their ability to have their impact on the world. And when you have a restaurant that has more social media being done, more reviews being captured, more people following up with offers, that means we need more cooks in the kitchen. We need more servers. We need more delivery people. We need more bartenders. When you do that for hair salons, we need more people cutting hair. When you do that for plumbing companies, we need more plumbers. We need more roofers. We need more chiropractors. So small businesses are actually going to add jobs. They are, for the first time, going to have the capacity that they need to actually grow their business so that they can actually hire more people, unlike the huge corporations that are going to be laying off people like mad. So it is, I think, the most important time that we could possibly be doing what we're doing and helping small businesses execute on this potential so that they grow and they're healthy and they impact their local communities in a positive way, because you are going to see a ton of people unemployed from bigger companies here in the very near future. So I'm religious about this. I think it's important that because I know there's anytime you do what I'm doing, training, selling high level and stuff like that, there are people, I just got a comment from some guy on YouTube the other day. There are people that think that I'm just doing what I'm doing so I can sell high level so I can make a commission. Okay. I make no apologies for wanting to make as much money as I can. And, but it has always been the case with me that I have to do that in a way that is meaningful to me. This is so meaningful to me. And it is so important. And the importance of this over the next 3 years is going to hit us like a tidal wave. It has not quite yet, but it is going to. It is a matter of time, and I think a very short amount of time before that tidal wave really becomes clear. And I hope that through my conviction here, I can get as many of you to have as much conviction as possible into, one, this opportunity for you, and also the opportunity to have a real impact on the businesses and lives in your local community, because I think it's going to be incredibly, incredibly important. It's not just about making money. It's about making sure that people feel like they've got a future that they're confident about and excited about, and not just the doom and gloom of people are getting laid off and losing jobs, because that's going to be major stories in the news in the years ahead. Okay. So I'm having a blast. And I can tell you again, if you are part of my community, you are about to get a lot of updates and lessons on this stuff. Lessons that we have learned, and just passing on to you to try and be helpful here as quickly as possible. We're going to be rolling stuff out aggressively. Okay. So I hope that helps. What's the difference between the high leverage agency course and the high level agency FastStart? High level agency FastStart is a very small portion of the overall high leverage agency program. And it is focused on how do we get you just up and running on using high level as fast as possible and getting out there and starting to sell. Because in our experience, getting started on high level can be overwhelming. And so a lot of people get stuck. And then if you don't go out and get some momentum and start, prospecting and generating revenue quickly, you can get stuck and just go right back to your old job, or you can go back to searching the internet for business opportunities, right? And so we just try and make it as focused as possible on how do we get you set up and running and prospecting and starting to build your actual business as quickly as possible. Okay. Does hosting include some of the additional capabilities you mentioned for $97 a month? Yes, for $97 a month. Yep. Yeah, so we include like the chat widget. We'll include missed call text back. We'll include access to the CRM capabilities of high level and the conversations feature of high level. We'll integrate their social media accounts so that the conversations that are happening on their social media are showing up in conversations. So yes, those core features. And then Daniel, the way that we pitch structuring your service offering, we recommend you just give them access to everything in high level, because if they use it, they are going to be paying you more, because we set things up on a usage-based pricing model. Okay. So we don't try and hide anything. Don't try and limit anything. Just, yep. Yes, we do have a funnel builder over there. Yes, we do have a, whatever. Not that you have to have them using any of that right away. We just don't worry about hiding it. We turn them on to the core features and say, here's the core features, and use them, and you have access to them. And then if they go, well, what's all this other stuff? That just introduces that opportunity for the upsell call. Okay. Anything else? Let me know. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to rant. I appreciate it. And anything else I can help you with, I'm happy to. Got a few more minutes and then we will wrap this up. All right. I don't see any other questions, so we will go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of the community. Thank you for joining me on this call and spending some of your Friday with me. And thank you for your business, as always. I appreciate it. I hope you got some value out of the call. And we will be back with our office hours on a regular basis next Friday. In between now and then, if you need anything from me or my team, if you could post inside of our community, that would be your best opportunity to get a response. My team and I are in there, as well as a fantastic community of your peers that can help as well. If you're not a member of our community, you can join at servicesatscale.com/community. and get in there. It's free. And you will find all kinds of great help and resources in there. Okay. Until next time, thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Be well. Have a great weekend. And I hope to see you on a future call. Take care.